Oh, okay. Oh, where? Oh, I see. Okay. Let's go up here and get this showboat on the road.
What's her name?
Do I look all right? No. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to honor yourselves. No one else besides that. Check your hearts, check your pulse, check your reaction time.
Check your gas.
Check your gas.
Check your mate.
Especially depending on what you've eaten. Hummus has magic. All right. So I want to welcome you to Sacred Grounds. I'm Dan Brady, the current host of this, the longest-running poetry open mic in the known and unknown universe, serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Let's have a round of applause for Teddy back there, our host. Without him, he wouldn't be here wondering why the place is empty. Thank you. Woo! I ask you to respect the mic, and simply that means keep your conversations to a whisper. If you have devices, like I know I do, now's the time to put them on mute, hold, airline mode, buzz and vibrate if you want to have a good time. And so take care of that. That's what I'm doing right now at this very moment. Yes, power off. Tonight's feature is Christine No. She's not in the house as of yet, but she will be, and this is going to be great. She took the place of the person who I thought was going to be featured this evening, but I made a mistake and had a miscommunication with that person, and Christine No. stepped into the breach, as it were. So...
Question.
Yes, question.
So when the other person didn't show up, did you just write no show?
Oh. Thank you for that. I'll get back to you on that and me at the same time. So we have Marco Harps as the mini feature. We have a subtle mini feature that's going to be delivered to us by Martin Joseph. He will come back for his own open. Our keynote is Owen Douglas in the house. Give him a round of applause right there. Does anybody remember that commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Soul American.
Soul American. Tonight's feature, we did that, and the last word, we don't have a last word, except I wrote Gary here, but Gary says he's not that, so it could be somebody else.
Garrett.
Could be Garrett. I'm going to put,
I think you were right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's where
It's not lucky that it was Gary.
Yeah, it could be right.
all right, so let's see what else is there.
I think it's.
All right, if you'll notice the link that's posted on the wall over here, I always do this. There are 5 simple ways you can do this. Use this. Thank you, Hal, for coming in. If you can't be here, then you can go there and see it live. If you want to have someone see you, then you have them go there, and they say, come, tune in. If you want to hear somebody's poem again, you can't believe they said that word, and you don't know what it means, you can go there. Again, if you want to say, well, how did I do? What did I look like? Did the camera catch me digging in my nose? And you go there and find out, oh my God, I did, but that was a big one. Then, last and more importantly, it's a way to put out the word, your word, our word, any word. Also, we have 2 themes, always, every evening. The ongoing theme is never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. When you look back in history, you say, oh my God, is that true? Anyway, that was by Margaret Mead. I don't know if I said that. Tonight's particular theme, however, is pet peeves, which you are free to ignore as you desire, but pet peeves. And if you wish to record someone, please ask their permission. I will assume that you've done that and won't interrupt things. I will referee the fight, however, just to choose one.
So then we get to the door prizes, and there's several of those.
Now, this is in case you have an intellectual bent. The birth of a new physics. And, Newton, Kepler, and Galileo. So this goes back in time. It's not, I don't know that it's the more recent version. And this, as a teacher, I got this book, and it was very interesting reading. I used it a couple of times in a few discussion groups with 5th graders who I had them talk about this, and we had some very good. But that's for somebody else. And if you're interested in gold, like I know some people are, this gives you a history of gold. There's an interesting chart in that magazine. The information in the chart shows you that most of the world's gold is tied up in jewelry, not in banks, not in Fort Knox, in jewelry.
Really?
Far more than half.
Yeah.
And then Cosmic Dawn, the American Scientific American.
Dawn?
Yeah, Dawn, D-A-W-N. Not D-O-N. And then this, if you want some light reading, we have A.A. Milne's When We Were Young.
Oh.
Very cute, very cute book. Then, of course, if none of those float your boat, shake your shingles, or whatever they want to say, you can decide to be the keynote next week if you like that. The menu feature, which you will see. Choose the theme, which someone did and gave us pet peeves. Be the co-pilot, which Gary is this evening. He sits here with me and tries to make sense of what I do. Good luck with that. And then the last word, which is you have the last position on the open mic and no one gets to gainsay you. So those are there. I am here. Is there anything else? Oh, there's things coming, and I will explain that when I have time. And now, the keynote of the evening, Mr. Owen Dunkel. Come forward, please.
Owen Martin. And focus in. And get him settled.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I decided to read a poem by Dylan Thomas called A Refusal to Mourn the Death by Fire of a Child in London. Never until the mankind making bird, beast, and flower, fathering and all humbling darkness, tells with silence the last night breaking, and the still hour is come of the sea tumbling in harness. And I must enter again the round Zion of the water mead, and the synagogue of the ear of corn. Shall I let pray the shadow of a sound, or sow my salt seed in the least valley of sackcloth to mourn? The majesty and burning of the child's death I shall not murder. The mankind of her going with a grave truth, nor blasphemed down the stations of the breath with any further elegy of innocence and youth. Deep within the first dead lies London's daughter, robed in the long friends, the grain beyond age, the dark veins of her mother, secret by the unwarning water of the riding flames, of the riding Thames. After the first death, there is no other.
Thank you. Now, as you know, he presented something that by someone else, and that's the keynote's job. And he'll put the name of the poet and the poem on this thing so I can attribute it correctly and not always right. Charge of the Light Brigade by Lawrence Ferlinghetti Jr. Who's busy decoding.
He's still alive. That would kill him.
That would. So, Owen, there's the sign.
Is there a Rick in the house?
Is there a Rick here?
Rick in the house?
Slick Rick?
Well, she was looking for somebody named Rick.
Okay, I don't believe so. Not at the moment. Christine, would you like to stand up so we can give you a round of applause? The feature of the evening has arrived.
Oh, yeah. Feature.
Yes. And this, when she comes up, this is her first time here, so we will give her the traditional welcoming that we like to do. Thank you so much.
Double.
Double. All right. D.N. Simmers, who is a new person here, ladies and gentlemen. Give him the treatment. Come on, let's go. Come on, down here.
If I make a note, a new person and a Canadian person.
A new Canadian.
Be very, very gentle. Be very gentle.
Make a stink.
He's Canadian.
Everybody wants to be a Canadian.
Well, of course. I haven't been back to San Francisco for almost 50 years. I used to come down here, stay at Berkeley and for a week, and then I'd head off to Los Angeles and go surfing. So one thing I did get is if you remember, you mentioned Ferlinghetti, Out of Mind, which is a magazine that was reinstituted by Black Sparrow Press, and they did a revisit to Haight-Ashbury. Now, I have a poem in it, and it was a poem that talked about early AIDS A friend of my brother's had died in the early days of AIDS when they really didn't know what it was, and it was a poem that was published by them in a revisit called In the Next Room. Tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of poems that are published poems. The first one is in a magazine called No Man's Choir, and that's out of New York. It's a broadsheet, and yellow in color. And the broadsheet is a little bit larger than a sheet of page. The poem I'm reading is something about pet peeves, or even worse. I am a recovered alcoholic, and so I've gone to dark places in my life. And this is a poem I wrote when I started helping out recovering and recovered alcoholics in Vancouver East End. And it's a group called Thursday Writing Collective. It's called Letter to Silk Darkened Alleys. It is raw as concrete. I'll try again. It is raw as concrete as I write, not curled or cured of smells from old pizzas or the drip of things that are in and now out of the mouth of the street. A pool of something else, nothing that is alive. Here where the feet with bodies rush, being pushed and are passing to and get it out, pushed from the shadows, rustled and hustled leaves that hold onto pavement, so close to the drains, but not enough to keep it away, to be seen or to be dry, like a canvas being stretched against dark silk that is my alley. Okay, that's a dark one. This one is going to be published in an online magazine in the UK in September. It's called Your One Poem Call, and it's a lighter poem, kind of about my mom. It's called Buried Music from a Life, and it's after Peter Robinson. There was music oldies on the TV, older than I am. I remember when my mother would swing around the living room dancing to the music. Music from the big band era. Let her head go one way and her feet go the other, as if she was back being 15. And there were boys to impress and parties to go to in a new dress. I remember her swinging to the beat. Not one I would grow to love, not hard rock or metal, or the screech of a voice lost in the swirl of smoke, lost years in the years of dust and death. Thank you.
Thank you. Put James C.
Where do you want it?
Oh, number 15, James C. Like ABC, right? Conrad. Thank you. All right. Gary is next. Give him a round of applause, please. Or a rectangle.
Life raped me of all the questions.
Or how I stopped worrying and learned to love off Europe, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, hire me as your sex apprentice. Don't betray our love for politics turned showbiz. Who cares how high the rent Putin pays on your booty is? I want to give birth to Trump babies. Want to itch with Trump brand scabies. I'm running crazy in the streets with Trump political rabies. Oh, Donald, take me away from rabble who ignore erotic undertones of your babble. Because you speak in a tortured ideological scrabble while the media mangle and grope and grapple. Listening to you is like hearing Adam eat the apple, spraying juice all over himself like mango snapple. Don't build a wall between your heart and mind, you Republican queen. I promise, me raping you is just a dream. It's true, I do want to immigrate into you, you sexy man. Don't worry, I'm 100% not Mexican. So please whip that thing out again. Oh, Hillary Clinton, she could barely be tolerated, let alone elected. But Donald Trump, I want to finger and stroke that dead yellow animal taxidermied and entombed on his head. While we lie in the Waldorf Astoria presidential suite's bed. When Congress hears of our passionate thrills, I'm sure they'll have Goldman Sachs pay our room service bills. Your politics are heinous, and your policies pain us. But I want your maniacal rhetoric shoved up my anus. It won't hurt for long. Less than a decade of Donald Trump tears. At most, 8 years of realized Donald Trump fears. So, I'm pasting Trump campaign posters up on my sugar walls. I'm grinding to elect Donald Trump president of my genitals. Oh, Donald, fuck us in your fits of fascism. Piss on us with your wit and wisdom. Choke us with your words until we're sick. Donald Trump, you suck! So why not my dick?
Forward.
Forward. Moving forward.
In the spirit of sacred grounds, I'm going to make a couple of announcements before Dan gives me the hook. Every Thursday night, the best open mic I've ever been to without a microphone happens at Mission and 16th. By 10, someone draws a chalk circle on the sidewalk next to the bar in the southwest corner. Unless it's raining, then we use garbage. So, it is also the most dangerous open mic you can imagine because it is still Mission 16th and it's after 10. Doesn't matter what night of the week it is. I am the bouncer. I do tend to get hit most weeks, but I don't let anyone else get hit. It is amazing. People do their cocktail hour, but when someone brings it, it's like the Red Sea party as everyone pays attention. So if you're still in town tomorrow night, it's worth the risk. Second announcement. My first feature in San Francisco is July 17th at Hotel Utah, which is a great open mic. And I'm out of time, but I hope I'll see all of you there. It's really a very good set every Monday night. Thank you for your time.
It's a great open mic, let me tell you. All right, give him a round. Nice announcement. Why don't you announce him?
Uh-oh.
I gotta find
I thought he went already.
Oh, he did the
I
keynote.
didn't realize there are all these exceptions to going once. You people have to tell me these details.
You know what they tell me.
Well, I
Shut
don't
up
want
and
to tell you what I tell you because that's
If you do
what I
a
do behind your
keynote,
back.
you can come back and
Yeah, the keynote always goes.
the keynote is somebody else's work.
Oh, like people don't do covers in their own slots.
Yeah, yeah.
Owen Dunkel, everybody, let's have a big round.
Owen, to go!
For Owen Dunkel.
Owen!
Not doing someone else's work, I'm told.
No, you can. It's just that this is a special thing where someone purposely does somebody else's work to get that slot, and then they come back and do the
I
open
understand.
dinner.
My haircut's just not special enough.
The voice of the flowers. The voice of the flowers that knew many. Likeable to the slow crawling of the vivid ivied vines. Just like quiet varicose veins. Quiet now for many centuries. The old chill of the cold rain of so many January winters. Flowers with their small voices cry out this year as they have cried out years and years before. The cold sky carves an isthmus of blue, a dashing wide swath through, the colors of the flag wrapped around, the cold leaves of our evening. After the rain, after Rimbaud. Reach out for adoration. The insane clock has stopped the clouds from ticking. My jungle has stopped talking about the frantic thinking of knowledge. The ulcers booming about the sand fleas. I write like a spiteful witch that runs like a mouse down the clock to the sea. The clouds are red. The sand is as white as a happy prince. The sand is as black as an angry night. Sunday Opus. Rimbaud am I. I take care of verses and ignore Baudelaire and his bald serpents. She rode a horse made of foxes and bad grapes. Poem worth 2 cents. Tiny serpents take care of Rimbaud. E pluribus unum. Fair Phoebus, sharp mind, follow me, only me, a drunken roister from pub to pub, down to scrub, to prepare for the next day of the curious vacuum of consciousness we are investing in. Wall Street sharply climbs down in a curious state of consciousness like the wonderful state of the flagpole sitter, gazing into the soul of fair Phoebus, as we dare talk to Icarus. What was it like up there? Splendid. All the gaseous beauty and tree shade opened up like the night of her ruby lips. Or was it a Dante-esque inferno, an eternal sweatbox full of lost souls and fruit flies? Almost impossible for cool, quiet Morpheus to cast his wonderful white-hot, starry cape shadow upon. Poem. The sky can come to host the clouds. Babies are by their mothers. The day is uninspired. I can speak of nothing. Metaphors have vanished. Maybe they will return tomorrow to tell me something about babies and clouds and the strange ways of the stars at night. This is a poem that some people enjoy. It's a poem about our cat, Plunder. Plunder lying in residence with mother and father. O noble Plunder, gray as the Sphinx, I worship your eyes, gray green with knowledge, eyes green as the ocean floor. I knock at your large door. Great black hunter, so full of poise to please yourself, made 1,000 birds fall. Like ripe plums all fallen, catches no cat can catch a man. Paws that stretch like the ocean's view, ponder wise, shine like new. Clinging its swing spells death to many, a bird on the wing. Claws he has with sharp ends, hunted down many our fine feathered friends. All you sparrows, jays, and wrens, robin redbreast, this is the end. For every night when the moon comes through and fog sits heavy like morning dew, through the mist, the brambles, the briar, comes Plunder as he stalks. Every flyer through the long grass, can he ever tire? Mother and father on whom I write yon plea, found off wise, sometimes witty, as I now sit writing, stewing the lines. The times ahead now without these fears have prevented my tongue from saying what I wanted to say. Foolish fears these were that kept me away. Now Plunder knows, and I do too, what's right, what's wrong with me, with you. He's been here, he's been there, he's never dropped us along the way. He's never worked, stopped only to play. He's shown us, he's known us, an example to many cats. He rests his sleepy snake's head, life for him an eternal bed of roses and flies and lilies' delight. Prancing through the night like Shelley on the wing, by work's sake flight, noble Plunder outlives us all.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. What? I might do that. So there's a bit of a little bit of two people who are going to be doing a keynote. We had a double, and I misunderstood myself in that. Are you ready?
Me?
Yes, I was going to say that. I was going to give you a heads up, but I forgot.
Yeah. No, we're good enough.
All right, we're good enough. So, Mr. Martin Joseph, one of the other keynote, which I totally had issues with, but that's because I forgot. You ready? And thank you so much. Give him a nice round of applause. He comes up here. And then this here is the attribution sheet when you're done.
That's the attribution.
I'll
I'll print it out for you.
Jesus.
Okay. Good evening. Say
Good
your
evening.
times.
Good evening.
Donald Trump just came back from his first tour abroad, and his theme that he played over and over again to all of the foreign countries was America First. And that got me to thinking where I'd heard that term before, and it goes back to the 30s. Does everybody know who Charles Lindbergh was?
Yeah.
He's a flyboy.
Lucky Lindy.
Flew a plane over the Atlantic Ocean, landed in Paris, and they thought he was a big hero as a result of that. This isn't about his plane flight. Also, in order to kind of get some of the references, in this song, which was done by Woody Guthrie, and it's titled Mr. Charlie Lindbergh, refers to Wheeler, Clark, and Nye. Those were U.S. senators that were sitting at the time, and if you just think Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, and Orrin Hatch, you'll get a pretty close estimation of the guys to which he's referring. And also, later on, he talks about Father Coughlin. So if you just think, so if you just think a combination of Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh, you'd have a pretty fair approximation.
Better start there, buddy.
So we have Mr. Charlie Lindbergh by Woody Guthrie. Now, Mr. Charlie Lindbergh, he flew to old Berlin, got him a big iron cross, and he flew right back again to Washington. Mrs. Charlie Lindbergh, she came dressed in red, said, "I'd like to sleep in that pretty White House bed in Washington. Lindy said to Annie, "We'll get there by and by, but we'll have to split the bed up with Wheeler, Clark, and Nye in Washington. Hitler wrote to Lindy. He said, "Do your very worst." Lindy started an outfit that he called America First in Washington. All around the country, Lindbergh he did fly. Gasoline was paid for by Hoover, Clark, and Nye in Washington. Lindy said to Hoover, "We'll do the same as France. Make a deal with Hitler and then we'll get our chance in Washington. Then they had a meeting and all the firsters came on a walk and they came on a run in Washington. Yonder comes Father Coughlin wearing the silver chain, gassed on his stomach and Hitler on the brain in Washington. Mr. John L. Lewis would sit and straddle a fence, but his daughter signed with Lindbergh and we ain't seen her since in Washington. Hitler said to Lindy, "Stall him if you can. Gonna bomb Pearl Harbor with the help of old Japan in Washington. Then on a December morning, the bombs came from Japan. Wake Island and Pearl Harbor killed 1,500 men in Washington. Now Lindy tried to join the army, but they wouldn't let him in, afraid he'd sell to Hitler a few more million men in Washington. So I'm going to tell you, people, if Hitler's going to be beat, the common working people has got to take the seat in Washington. And I'm going to tell you, workers, before you cash in your checks, they say America first, but they mean America's next in Washington.
Thank you. This is not all right. Thank you. That's our other keynote today. He'll be coming back. Ed Melendez is next. Come on up, Ed. He hasn't been here a while, so give him a nice warm welcome. And then I'm going to read the next 5. We have Wendy, then Jack, Yakuba. Did I say that right? I hope so. He'll correct me. David, then me, then Richard coming back, Martin coming back, and then our feature. And we might change that order up a little tiny bit. Okay? All right. Go ahead. I'm just focusing on you. You're a tall guy. Oh, maybe raise the mic because it might be soft. It might be dim. You know.
How's that?
That's good. As long as we can hear you, we're happy.
Well, these 2 poems I wrote today. This one's called Closed Curtains. Very little light comes through these closed curtains. Sirens and bird songs have no problem coming into this place. I look up to shadows on the ceiling and brief streaks of brightness. Words close down in me. Time for coffee, my body says. Daydreams need their caffeine and bursts of something more than shadows. These next 2 poems, I've been thinking about my grandparents in El Salvador. So this first one is about my grandfather. Again, I wrote it today. Remembering grandfather. He was from Amsterdam. His people worked with trains and roads. They came by boat, passing the Panama Canal, up to La Libertad in El Salvador. There he felt the cool Pacific, tropical air, but he was no dreamer, a realist among hot nights. He picked up white sand, smelt it, let it trickle out from his fingers, understanding the secrets of this land. His brown boots hopped on train cars, walked up and down groves of fruit trees, watching waves come and go with these seasons, never looking back. Dutch dreams closed and locked in his mind. We never asked him to place the story in our hearts. Never counted adventures he'd lived, loves he'd lost. He was Grandpa, that's all. A rugged, rosy-skinned, tall man who kept his secrets deep in his psyche, giving tidbits away every year. Right. Inspired by Mexican-American poet. I heard we were talking about how Kerouac used sometimes, or beat poets use jazz. So we thought it'd be kind of funny thinking about Kerouac using mariachis instead of jazz. So I just had this sort of daydream. This is called Kerouac in Mexico with sad mariachis. I see the twirls of piñatas throwing candy all over the gritty streets. Smells of tacos, Mexico City style, surrounding you with aromas of contentment, songs of the Spanish past, haunted, my amor, by Tristeza, whom you loved, whom you imagined down dark cobblestone alleys, Mexico City blues growing in your gut, with each step towards Plaza, singing your poems with mariachis, North Beach jazz, dead here. Andale, Jack, they shouted, sing us your poem of time passing, of train rides up the California coast, of storms coming down the forest, to kiss you, amigo, put you to sleep. Alright, this is my last one. Looking back, forward. Journals with torn pages, predisposed to a faulty history. Flap open, closed, in the wind, with some drops of rain hitting the lonely wooden deck. There's a ghost there. Can I tell you about him? It is me in the past, holding journal pages that said nothing, or maybe said everything. Here you are in the present, sipping the black coffee of possibility, dreaming up replacements of those pages. Why not leave them flapping in the wind? Why not rewrite the present with new hours, new images, forgetting this ghost that chatters on and on?
There we go. Ed Melendez, welcome back. Thank you.
Keep coming back, bro.
It works. And now we have Wendy Walters coming in. Give her a nice warm welcome. And then we have Jack, Yakuba, David, me, Richard, Martin coming back, and our feature, the stellar Christine No. And notice how she adjusts the microphone. It's very important to do that. Professional here.
Bro.
Don't do this at home.
Excellent.
You can get more stinking from thinking than you can from drinking, but to feel is for real. And that was from Joe Miller, an American mystic who lived right here in San Francisco, and he and his wife headed the San Francisco Theosophical Society, which was unlike any other Theosophical Society in the world.
So true.
And this poem was inspired by that mystic. I was indoors all day a few years ago, almost all day, and started coming over me, being in the dark, not in so much light. And all of a sudden, it's like all of the cells in my body just pulled me out the door, and I had this experience. Feel for real. The sun is calling me out. The sun is calling me out. Why stay inside and think and plan while the sun is shining bright? It's passionate light. Oh, don't be absurd. My body wants to feel for real. My body wants to feel for real. The flowers are calling me out. The flowers are calling me out. It's okay to be happy and free of such fuss. Come out and play with us. We can offer you more than you've ever learned. Join us now. Oh, don't hesitate. Your body wants to feel for real. Your body wants to feel for real. The birds are calling me out. The birds are calling me out. Beauty's over here, so near and dear. We're singing to you. We're singing your song. Don't be absurd. Don't hesitate. Your body wants to feel for real. Your body wants to feel for real. And I also wanted to share some poems from this anthology written by Native American poets and people who have that connection in their ancestry way back. And some of these people were here doing a feature sometime this year, I think.
Yeah, it was like the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Lucille Langday was one. and there were some others, and I don't remember which the others in a particular group, but so I just flipped through, and we went to the Stanford powwow recently at Stanford University, and it was really fun for a few hours. And this is about a powwow in Modesto, but it reminded me of that experience of being there. It's called by Manny Moreno, who's of Yaqui Tarascan descent. Footsteps. Modesto annual powwow kicks off this weekend. I guess I'll have to go. Get a roll of sinew, a chunk of copal, a new ball cap embroidered with an Indian thing on it. I need some buckskin too. I'll eat a fry bread taco, maybe I'll eat two. Gonna kick it with some friends to see how things have been, and dance to the thunder of drums and songs as dancers circle intertribal in footsteps of the past. It was really nice because they always invite the audience who are not performing to come into the circle and walk around the circle with them. It's a wonderful experience.
Along with the veterans.
Right. That's right. Thank you. Yes. So, and then, how much time?
You got about a minute and a half.
Okay.
That's all right. We're good.
Okay, I'll read the short one. I just wrote this on my way here. Dan went on a trip for almost a week to visit one of his brothers and his best friend from high school. And I just wrote this little ditty while he was away. While you were away, my dear, I was less distracted from my own past by your presence. I forgot to go to bed earlier, which I always remember to plan when you're here, even if I don't succeed. I finally started to clear away the messes on my desk, the ones I had been building up for years. I stopped procrastinating the pleasure and joy of working in our garden. I looked forward to our visits on the phone while you got to visit with your brother and best friend, who you rarely get to hang with in person. While you were away, my dear, I thought about how lucky I am to have someone like you in my life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's my wonderful wife, Wendy. Jack Melinda. What we got? Yakuba, David Erdreich, me, Richard, Mark, and Feature, for God's sake. There we go. I don't know who's that. I'll leave that there. Those aren't mine, you know.
Once freedom and equality were lofty ideals bruited about by slaveholders, and then those evil men's offspring made the ideals come true and ended the servitude. New ideals could have came conspicuously absent in the war-ravaged past. Democracy of, by, for people. Our forefathers thought it worthwhile pursuing these, though they did aught but that which they affected, creating government of the lobbies by uniform badge councils for monopoly capital, and against the people, in despite of human beings. Now how peacefully may the best hope imaginable replace this time the traditional law and adults' widespread error. How peacefully and how quickly may the Jubilee occur, the rapture of millennial tranquility begin? When? When will recession cuts to education funds fall on math, science, business courses, not PE, music, art, which, let's face it, don't help anybody but the people? When will these trumped up wars, called cold or called on terror, stop stealing citizens' tax funds and stop preempting basic rights? When will all the people get to vote on everything affecting them? Like whether gene tech gets to alter food, or when affirmative action's done its work. The people must admit that should go on. As should strict business regulation, as should relief to all those who have, because of class, not equally shared in chances for success. If equality is an ideal, whose truth lives even in the mouths of those whom we pay lip service, and if most genius is poor because most people are poor, the offspring of these power-hungry hypocrites could do worse than once more leading the past into the light of a more humane future, when all can share equally in the chances to contribute the best of themselves. When will many private organic producers replace each toxic runoff Agribux megafarm. Can we risk supposing that the people might prefer that in our job solutions-driven economy? Of the people, by the people, for the people, oh, really? Well, then when and how?
Jack Melvin delivers the goods. All right, now as we did once before this evening already, when we welcome someone who is new to the spot, we, pounding the tables, clapping hands, screaming, hollering, animal noises, and such like that. So bring up Yakuba! Come on, let's go! Come on! What a some noise out there! Woo! Animal noises! Come on, you! Yeah. There we go. How you doing? Good. I'm glad, because if you weren't glad, I'd start them doing that all over again, and then it's good.
And you would have seen him.
Okay, so I'm going to focus in on you over there because that's where you are.
Actually, I'm going to get out of the way.
No, you were good.
No, I got a big nose, Dan.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a congenital defect, trust me.
All right.
Are you going to sit and play?
Boys and
Oh,
video
yeah.
cameras.
Do you want the? He can bring the microphone into you. So, Richard, did you introduce him to this spot?
Well, I saw him on the bus, but I don't know anybody else. He knew Jack too, but I've seen him on the bus a couple times. So I told him about it.
Oh, good.
So I'm glad to see him here at the Blue Bus.
Thank you. All right.
Can I video you? Is that okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you for doing that. That's perfectly done.
You took, tell them where you're from and about your instrument.
For real.
Your musical instrument.
Cora.
Go ahead. You're on.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Look at that guy. Yakuba! Thanks, Richard.
It's the African harp.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And like they say in France, you never know what's happening.
I turned it down a little bit.
And now David Erdreich is taking the mic, then me, then we have Richard, then our feature, who will just top us all off to no ends. It's amazing. We had a great night here, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind me saying so. Even if you do mind me saying, yes, I have. Yes, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I love that. Don't you love Latin?
School's out, man.
It's all here. We're good. We're happy. My mom says I'm happy.
I say you're happy too.
Thank you so much.
Okay, pet peeve.
Oh, good. Someone did the theme. Oh!
It's a short one.
All right.
My pet peed on me, but I love her all the same. She was very sick. Very sick.
Oh my gosh.
This is years ago.
Aw. Yeah.
Yeah, bad puns. Look out.
Imagine.
Okay, I just got this score. This is Arab and Jew, and I wrote a harmony for it. It's going to be done a cappella on September 9th at Avanova, and I have a wonderful tenor, Tafiq. We sing in the World Harmony Chorus together, and he can hit that high B, which I obviously can, so anyhow. So. Arab and Jew always fighting in the desert. Why can't we live in peace side by side? The Middle East, where men kill their brothers. In the U.S., where bigots can't hide. Our president would wall out the others. Fear, hate, and lies consort to divide. Women unite with sisters and brothers. Speak out for the earth, throw their covers aside. Integrity is yours to discover. Community, let the doors open wide. There appear every day obstacles in your way. Patience and silence may answer. Strive to be free like the limbs of a tree. Truth is your partner and answer. Integrity is yours to discover. Diversity, let the doors open wide. Integrity is yours to discover. Diversity, let the doors open wide. Oh, I started the high. Tales of the Dervishes, Idris Shah, The Lamp Shop. One dark night, two men met on a lonely road. I'm looking for a shop near here which is called The Lamp Shop, said the first man. I happen to live near here, and I can direct you to it, said the second man. I should be able to find it by myself. I've been given the directions, and I've written them down, said the first man. Then why are you talking to me about it? Just talking. So you want company, not directions. Yes, I suppose that is what it is. But it would be easier for you to take further directions from a local resident, having got so far, especially because from here onwards, it's difficult. I trust what I've already been told, which has brought me thus far. I cannot be sure that I can trust anything or anyone else. So, although you once trusted the original informant, you have not been taught a means of knowing whom you can trust. That is so. Have you any other aim? No, just to find a lamp shop. May I ask what you seek, why you seek a lamp shop? Because I've been told on the highest authority that is where they supply certain devices which enable the person to read in the dark. You are correct. But there is a prerequisite and also a piece of information. I wonder whether you have given them any thought. What are they? The prerequisite is to reading by means of a lamp that you can already read. You cannot prove that. Certainly not on a dark night like this. What is the piece of information? The piece of information is that the lamp shop is still where it always was, but the lamps themselves have been moved somewhere else. I do not know what a lamp is, but it seems obvious to me that the lamp shop is a place to locate such a device. That is, after all, why it is called a lamp shop. But a lamp shop may have two different meanings, each opposed to the other. The meanings are a place where lamps may be obtained, and a place where lamps were once obtained, but which now has none. You cannot prove that. You would seem like an idiot to many people. But there are many people who would call you an idiot. Yet perhaps you are not. You probably have an ulterior motive, sending me off to some place where lamps are sold by a friend of yours, or perhaps you do not want me to have a lamp at all. I am worse than you think. Instead of promising you lamp shops and allowing you to assume that you will find the answer to your problems there, I would first of all find out if you could read at all. I would find out if you were near such a shop, or whether a lamp might be obtained for you in some other way. The two men looked at each other sadly for a moment, then each went his way. Sheikh Pir Shatari, the author of this story, died in India in 1632. His shrine is at Meerut. He is credited with maintaining a telepathic contact with past, present, and future teachers, and giving them the means to project their message through his specialty of stories based upon the everyday life of the community. That is, this is not me, but if it were me, I could communicate with all of you and your relatives, past, and your children to come.
Thank you, David. Everybody. Am I done? Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Oh, it's right here. All right. Dangerously enough, this brings me to you,
You to me, etc. ad nauseum.
and then we have after me we have Richard, and then we got
So, this is a surprise to my wife over there, since she read one. This is one of my favorite ones for her. It's a short one. Then I'll go to my pet peeve. Lord in heaven, save us. So this is untitled. A stroll about our neighborhood. The sidewalk lightly shaded, a sprinkling of dusky rain, the air moving fresh. Where I passed, a dark silken scarf strewn gracefully along. I went slowly on, but there came perfume. For a moment I thought of the scarf, looked back, but it was downwind. Another waft, this one warm, musky, followed by still another floral, sweet, not perfume, but something else. Looking to the near garden, flowerless, to the trees, all barren of branch, into the wind from down the way and quickening up, then to the sky, occluded with misshapen clouds, all heavily dark. I wondered for a moment, stood, nostrils flaring to draw in the rich air deeply, then exhaling, I thought of you, and was so very glad, so very thankful, just thinking of you. That's a true story. And now to my pet peeve. This is another Trump song. I already have two, but what the heck? Why not? The name's unending. The title showed up on a web page, and I was so inspired, I decided to write this song. And this man had this sign. It was supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. So I inspired. I'm going to sing it a tiny bit. You'll get the tune. Supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Yes, it's ugly in appearance and something quite atrocious. When it speaks, it often shrieks with prejudice ferocious. Our supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Delay, delay. Because he was raised as a jerk, he was always sad. He never ever had to work and so became a wastrel cad. Grabbing pussy, he was the joke since he was just a lad. As with anyone he got to poke, and that's both huge and sad. But then he rose to fame one day and taking all the polls, he became our Cheeto Prez, which sucks even as it blows. He's our supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Yes, indeed, the sound of it is something quite atrocious. When it speaks, it often shrieks with prejudice ferocious. Our supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. I like that part. He traveled all around the world and everywhere he'd vent. He'd act the fool and we deplore. He ain't no clever gent. When dukes and maharajas tie their crime sprees up with tea, he tweets it as he sees it. There's squirting's all we see. The cat will never get his tongue. He will always tweet away. Though he better squeak more carefully, it may cost him his dear life. Even as he takes us with him, hell-bent on his way to global strife. Supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Yes, indeed, the sound of it is something quite atrocious. When it speaks, it often shrieks with prejudice ferocious. So supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Just try to say it backwards, which is Pisan Sixististic Irregular Epsella Crepus. Well, that's really taking this thing far too far. Last time, if you want to sing along, it's rich. Our supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Supercalifragilistic, sexist, Nazi POTUS. Hey! Yeah! I love you, man. All
right. Thank you so much. If we have done enough damage, we'll know in due time. And now, Descendrel, then him, then our feature, the glorious Christino, shall come up here. Mr. Vanderel in his device approacheth the mic, please. Sanderel to the mic, please. Calling Sanderel. He's famous. There we go. Now we go. There's food on this. That was my breakfast. It backed up on me. Twice.
I have three new ones and an old one, but I'm not going to read them all. I have to figure it out. USA Society. USA has no use for elders. Love them when they're young and blame them when they age. Losers. Who taught you that? USA Society doesn't even like each other. This is what makes the rich rich.
All around we go, a go-go with our hatred of each other. Elders has an accident in bed. Time to ship them off to the torture houses called homes. Too hard for them to stay in an apartment home. This is USA's level of care. This is the way it's done. Most elders die shortly after being moved. USA's loss for the ability to empathize for those who are led by odorous politicians of stench in Colombia and the local state houses. They want to take from the elders, not give. You do not seek elders. Youth does not seek elders. Elders remind youth of their fate. Some will just get old, others will have something to say. Where will you be when you become an elder? Will you still find joy? Will you be heard?
Yes.
Yes. Just checking. I want to know who's in front of me and back of me. Eyes. Enjoy the beauty of almond dark smoky eyes, as well as the defective beauty of the blue, green, gray eyes. Enjoy those same eyes as they age, these eyes that have seen. Take note of what others may not. Enjoy the mind at play behind these observers. This is where the mind dances, separate from what the body does. Look at destruction, loss as eyes water. Look at the beauty eyes water with joy. All right. I'm being nice tonight.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read an older one.
Is it nice?
It'll have to be put to bed because this has been read too much. Night shines day. I get cloth, time the sharp dark night that brings day. Glide as all things float through starry-eyed galaxies. Meet my love. She studies, participate in what life offers from the world, mind, body, soul. She has no reason to be forgiven. She does not see things as sins, but learnings. If not learned, repeated, tragic. She's ornamented with black diamonds that take away their radiance. When sun rises, the black of night remains with her. Stardust falls during the night onto her hair, winking at me as she circles. Mesmerize, draw me in. They wonder why I love snakes representing male, female, transforming cultures. Lose ourselves in eyes, looking for that invitation to remain. One who binds you with the spell, transfixes, hypnotizes, enthralls as outside worlds die. Mesmerize.
Thank you, Richard Santaroo. That was a happy one, actually, for you. All right. Martin Joseph, isn't this your time now, Martin Joseph? Now he did a keynote thingy, so he's back, and he's going to wow us. And then we have Christine. Now, before she comes up, I will introduce her in such a way as to make you feel like, oh my God, I shouldn't have come. No, I'm only kidding about that. I try to be very effusively.
Impressive. False impressive.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite songs, but I'm dieseling now, so I better stop it.
Well, time has passed, and now it seems everybody's having
Greetings.
Generally, I don't read a poem a second time, but if I do an edit on it or make a change, then I'll do that. This one I wrote when the campaign was beginning a year ago, and I just modified it a bit. It's called Hitler, Mussolini, and Donald Trump. My friend Larry insists that Donald Trump is the new Hitler. My friend Mo says that Larry is crazy and that Donald Trump is the new Mussolini. My friend Curly Joe, who seems rather bald to me, insists that Donald Trump is neither. He's the new Caesar, he says, the new Nero. I think they're all wrong. I asked Larry, what's he going to do about it? I'll write a poem, he said. Closely examining the vein structure of a leaf in the poem, I will strip away all the leaf meat, leaving just the veins. Then I will crush the leaf veins in my hands. That will make people see once and for all how raw and evil Donald Trump really is. Okay? I asked Mo, what's he going to do about it? I will do performance art, he said. I will invite the media to cover it. I will go out to the beach, dig a hole, and bury my head in the sand. That will symbolize the willing blindness of the media to the essential evil that is Donald Trump. It will symbolize the willing blindness of the public, of us, who are too involved in our own lives to pay attention to what is happening around us. I know this Burmese monk who will lend me his orange robe for just such an occasion. He even offered me his lighter. Then Mo hesitated. Well, I would do that, he said, except that all the sands on San Francisco's beaches are black with oil. I don't know whether it's left over from the Costco Busan tanker spill, or from the Dubai Star tanker spill, or from some more recent spill that they haven't even told us about. Performance art is a damned nuisance. I knew I could depend on Curly Joe. He's a man of action. There's a special on at the Big 5 sporting goods store in Daly City, he said. I can get 20% off on a semi-automatic Colt. You have to go north of $400 to go semi, but I figured, hey, it's a special occasion, and I paid more than that for my iPad. I know the same monk that Mo knows, and he'll probably lend me his robe, too. Holy shit, I said, you're going to shoot Donald Trump? Curly Joe looked up at the sky and thought for a full minute. Then he looked down and sighed. No, I suppose not. I'm just not that person. I suppose it will have to be a bale of hay, but damn it, I have to shoot something. And then he broke down and cried. I feel badly for Curly Joe. I feel badly for Mo. And I feel badly for Larry. I feel badly about the existence of all those dark forces that would make stooges of us all.
Thank you. All right.
Point of order, Donald Trump is Franco.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification, because without that...
Caligula had so much more fun.
I was going to say, Caligula did have fun. He knew how to party down like nobody did it. All right, so here we go. This is my favorite part of the evening, or one of them, besides when we start and the like that. Christine No is our feature for this evening, and we are really, truly fortunate to have her here tonight. First, give her a round of applause right now. Just do that. All right. Thank you so much for that. She deserves that and more. So the thing is, I saw several clips, and one of the things that I noticed was she has a soft, gentle, quiet, easy voice. The voice is that way. What she says is not. What she said. I mean, you look at this going, oh, what's she saying there? Oh, my God. She said, oh, no. It's like that. It's really impressive. It's different, because a lot of times when you see poets read, if they're wild, they're loud. If they're not wild, they're stuff like that. But she has a really good control of her voice, a very nice perspective on what is real and what is important. And most of all, when you hear her read, you're looking into the person's heart, and it is a beautiful, beautiful place. A good voice, a good mind, soulful, beautiful heart, and she's reacting. I will not say any more. She will say the rest. Bring her up here with a nice round of applause. Come on, Christine. No. She's a filmmaker. I forgot to mention that.
That made me really nervous.
little nervous? Can I speak more and make you even?
I like to carry things with me.
That's all right.
And I'm going to time myself because I'm notoriously kind of long-winded.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like,
So then I will cease and desist with this thing, and let's see, make sure you're on the.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to turn mine off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's my brain already. That's
Okay. So you're doing that timing part.
No, I thought you were.
Oh, you want to do? Okay, I'll do. Then I'll go like this when you have like 3 or 4 something.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
Okay, cool. So hi, my name's Christine. Thank you so much for having me. It's my first time here.
Oh, that's right. We forgot that
Let's see. I just got back from Death Valley last night, and and we apparently it was 2 nights ago was the clearest night sky that I think 2017 is supposed to have. So we got really lucky.
Nice.
So we went out onto kind of the floor-ish of the valley and laid on a pocket of sand, like a sand dune thing, and we looked at the Milky Way, and I just said Milky Way, and it's gonna make me cry again. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, and I don't know what to do with it. It's just so beautiful. It's real. Like the universe is real. There's so much going on out there, and here we are.
You can't see that sky.
Right, yeah, that
Even
sky
when it's
is
clear.
not here.
You
Yeah,
can't see it.
yeah.
There's no Milky Way up there.
Yeah, there's colors. There's colors up there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been weeping on and off about it for a while. Okay, so I'll read a couple of pieces and yammer in between. I just had an essay come out in the Rumpus yesterday called Rewriting Mother. And I wanted to read you guys the first bit of it. So here we go. Rewriting Mother. Hypothesis. My mother is a shapeshifter. She changes each time I write her, to the degree at which I hold my anger to flame, to the distance between myself and my anger, from the angle at which I view my long broken heart. How do I come full circle when the beginning is buried under her, when she comes to me in parts? I'd like to spin around and rewind to the beginning, untangle the hair and twine and broken string and make her better, only good this time. I would give her the full 360 degrees, the benefit of my doubt. I've been given half, forward-facing field of vision and some periphery, yet she refuses to live anywhere except at the opposite ends of the spectrum, left and right, appearing and disappearing from my line of sight. The butterfly of the needle is dazzling, back and forth, and my mother is a solid wave when I close one eye, a flitting particle when I open both. I have tried to pin her to the middle, but my vision is imprecise, my hand trembles, I cannot pierce the heart so quickly, lest I hurt her, lest I hurt myself, lest I bleed. At my mother's house, during an extended stay, I work into the night, opening drawers, rifling through old photos, report cards she's saved, timelines and charts, yellowed carbon copy receipts that paint the faint line of her past. I've taken my mother to workshop, sat her upon a table to be examined. They shined light down her throat, asked her questions, and waited, arms crossed. These strangers, inspecting my mother. Thirsty, dusty, 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 Thursday. A frustrated rustling of paper, the clatter of a pencil case dropping on the floor, thump, roll, and again, bread, bled, bled, braid, blade. My mother and I are back in our old house. A defeated sigh follows. I make my way into the kitchen where she stands over the sink reciting, rolling her tongue into the back of her throat, contorted mouth moving unnaturally as she tries to form the words, make them sound the way they're meant to. Over the sink, she looks as though she's slicing fruit. I peer over her shoulder. She guts a trout, swift and intentional, string of rubies flecked with silver scales. Bled, she says, bled. Dusty, dusty. And she digs the knife's edge into her palm. Once for each mispronunciation, for each time her tongue will not comply. The overwhelming response to my research has been, we want to hear from your mother. Tell us how your mother feels, what she thinks about this, about you, about all of this. Tell us how your mother feels. I see the spectrum of our combined past. The long smear of grayscale down the middle, each shade leading further into the thick, into the dim corridors of memory and pause. Her mouth moves. I am trying. She mouths sorry, but the faint sound funnels around her like a gust of wind looking for a way out, or a whisper caught in the throat. She's doing her best to cooperate. What I present to you are field notes I have collected, the aggregated data, skin and hair, old patterns and failings, words neither of us understand. So I lay my research, our collective past, here, there, before you. Maybe you can help me. So, you guys let you super special essay too, so I was pretty excited. So I write a lot about mental health and kind of my experiences with it, as well as just mental health in general. So here's a couple pieces. The first one, actually, could you guys tell me after I read this if this should be called Club Med, or if you think North is a better title? So, Club Med or North? All right.
We're glad to help.
All right. So it's Club Med or North. When Jim lost his mind, he drove to the redwoods seeking answers. When Lisa broke her own heart, she too headed north and laid down to sleep. Dave left Wyoming because the sky was too big to hold, smashed up around him. There was nobody there. Now he sits at home in Berkeley, listening to traffic. He says he plays piano, but I don't believe him. You can only access the 4th floor by exiting on the 3rd and waiting for the special lift. We hovered in the hall to see who would come out of which door, looking for something of ourselves in them, wondering if we could spot one of our own. The way we arrived, buckled, kicking, asleep and dreaming, failures all, like us. Katie knew the color codes, gray for restraint, blue for a sprinter. They put Charlie on an MAOI, which meant he had to give up gluten, no soy sauce or bread. So be it. We'd give up anything for answers. We would. Remeron made Angela sleepy. Dan lost 10 pounds on Wellbutrin. Lexapro calmed the waves of terror. Risperidol made the humming stop. We spoke in hushed tones in the cafeteria, ignored those who kept a wide berth, averted their eyes when Karina stole plastic dinnerware, the holiday kind. When things don't make sense, the company of others like you might be enough to keep going. It might. One day Charlie didn't come back, and they wouldn't tell us where. I stalked up and down the hall looking for clues. I found a cigarette butt that I swear was his. It just felt that way. I dreamt that night about Charlie and the elevator and Jim at home thinking about the redwoods, trees older than the 4th floor. It was enough to make me want a different way, a different road than the one I took. Look where it got me. If you are as confused as I am, don't head north. You'll end up here. I wanted to ask Jim if it exists at all. North, I mean, where I am told the pines grow tall, where I am told the pines have answers.
Yeah, I was going to say Club Med, but I think North.
I like North.
Yeah.
North.
Yeah, that's a.
I was thinking of Snoopy when I think of it. So since I like totally kind of, I'm gonna get weepy about space again. So I will read you two poems. One is called oh my God, what are they called? One is called Notes from Hubble 1 and Notes from Hubble 2. I wish I was a little more organized in this one. Okay. Notes from Hubble's dream. Notes from Hubble's dream. I've heard that where you are, planetariums open their doors for dreamers, that there is a secret entrance for somnambulists and the narcoleptic who've dreamt their way into a multiverse. I've heard the subtle crowd murmuring their half-sleep hellos into the silence between traffic signals. Single file, reverent, hush into the grandeur of the halls of ancient possibility. Their dreams are made here. That taxi cabs make oceanic trips from borough to borough, that after rush hour, they fly. Where you are, petals rain down on Broadway unannounced. This I've seen with my own eyes, waiting for the bus on Bowery. I've seen it happen. Here, I go to bed before the sun goes down. The West Coast is wasted on me. It's February and the girl next door is wearing shorts. What I mean is, night sky is orange, can't see outer space. What I mean is, I'm an orphan. What I mean is, you are so beautiful, or you are beautiful and so far away. What I mean is, you are so beautiful and far away. Thank you. So this is part 2 of that. This is called Notes from Hubble's Dream 2. Have you guys seen Hubble, like one of Hubble's first photos back in like the 90s called The Deep Field? It's just black square with a bunch of tiny dots and stars and galaxies on it.
Yeah.
And we look at it now and it's just kind of super like lo-fi. And that's just one of my favorite images. And I got to see it 2 days ago. Okay, that's just one of my favorite images, and it always just kind of sits inside me. So the deep field is an image of a small, about 24 millionth of the whole sky that NASA scientists photographed over 10 days. What developed was a gigantic field of galaxies, some very young. The deep field is a landmark image in the study of the early universe. So, I love you with the violence of a brand new consciousness, swarming, babbling, incoherent, growing exponentially. Which is to say, I love you like a big fat baby. My love is the spectacle of whole galaxies crashing or the disaster of a gentle nudge on a planet's axis. I love you tightrope precariously. Everything about us is all and nothing, a fucking disaster, a game of hearts. Lovers like us are destroyers of worlds. Lovers like us turn hearts to dwarf planets, not even a moon. Lovers like us, flammable, inflammable. Lovers like us, sweet kindling. We'll go out all boom and particle, start whole new solar systems, organisms, hadrons, new ecosystems, immeasurable chances at life, and you and me. What I mean is, I'll find you. I always do. What I mean is, I miss you, but you're still here. I'm almost gone. I'll meet you in the deep field. Look for me. Look a while. Look longer. Thank you. Cool. So like I have 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have 10 minutes, yes. They're available to you.
Alright, cool. So, the next piece, let's read this one. This is back to mental health. The next piece is called What Happens When Depression is No Longer Your Singular Universe.
But just get closer to the mic a little bit, yeah.
There you go. Like that?
Yes.
What happens when depression is no longer your singular universe? We don't talk much about hell repurposed, or what happens when depression is no longer your singular universe, your God particle. How it is different now, smaller, less ornate, charcoal dense, a singularity you just swallowed. Not to discount or overuse the term, certainly there are worse things you must remind yourself than your eating habits. Some days you can't remember what they are. You could point to the wormhole right here, but what would that prove? It's been there all along, reptile brain, since the dawn of your trajectory. Hell is a body part now. Nod if you understand. The universe inverse, a neutron star lodged in your sternum right here. You can't stop fiddling, it'll scar. You know this. It catches your seatbelt when you brake too hard. Pay attention. Maneuver. Smile. Notice symptoms, their durations. Heave yourself. Ease your way. Cross multiple lanes of traffic. Wait for it. A brisk walk and a light jog are not the same thing. Imagine a neutron star undone. Nod if you remember. How you lost your head at the front door. How Tetris felt like Pac-Man. You will still cry in public. You will set off alarm bells for the rest of your life. You will still want to drive it off a bridge from time to time. Arrive early. You'll have to cross that metal threshold again and again, feet wide, hands jumping jack high, back and forth. How long it will take to explain to the TSA there was traffic. The God particle you swallowed, the neutron star, the large black hole in X-ray after X-ray after X-ray. Thank you. So very recently I got into, I was never a spoken word poet, but I don't know, as of like this year, I've made some spoken word poet friends, and they've introduced me to a lot more spoken word poetry, and I kind of spent a month just kind of obsessing over Jean Ann Burley, who I think did a bunch of her stuff about 10 years ago. So it's a little embarrassing, but I love it. I wrote a piece called Unsolicited Advice. She has a piece called Unsolicited Advice for teenage girls with crooked teeth and pink hair. So here is mine. If I can find it. And if I can't find it, then I'm sorry. It's on. I should have it.
You'll find it. You know, while you're looking for that, I just wanted to let you know that before the Hubble and after the Hubble, that's the division mark in the scientific research for all cosmology.
Wow.
There's the cosmology that was science and books that existed before it,
Right.
and then post-Hubble it was like everything was obsolete, according to my friend who knows a lot about science and engineering.
Yeah, like,
So I thought I'd fill the time just to chat around that way. You don't have to be there.
it's really cool. I don't know, just the idea that they pointed this, I don't know, telescopy thing. This telescopy thing. That's it. At something this big, and what they got back just
It's huge. Just
kills me.
incredible.
It kills me. I'm a little in love with the universe right now. You know what? Actually, before I read this one, I want to read you guys one called Lesser Gods. Here we go. Lesser Gods. Grandma says, come the end of days, we'll place magnets in our palms opposing prayer. The mark of the devil over our third eye as currency. That God will destroy the world again. Burn us down this time, not drown. Mom roams the desert. Vegas, Reno, looking for doves, a way back to grace. Stepfather uses words like breasts and tulip flowers. Grandma says they worship demons and lesser gods. After dark, I look for stars, comets, my mother's headlights hurtling here and away. Pray to God, whichever one, to torch the earth, take all of us. Thank you. So, this is my Jean Ann Verlee poem, this is a poem after Jean Ann Verlee. It's called Unsolicited Advice. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. When you open your eyes in the middle of the night and find your stepfather standing over you, do not pretend to be asleep. When Jamal in the 3rd grade with his broad nose and full lips says that your ching-chong face looks like it was smashed with a frying pan, do not tattle, he knows how you feel. Freshman year, when Ryan tells you that he's gay, give him a fierce, loyal eye roll. You will be there when he meets his fiancée. You will be witness to their matrimony. All the rules will change. Go with the boy you meet on New Year's Eve. You will lose him. But in that moment, you too are everything. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. Get used to the sound of sirens. Do not shrink each time they pass. Think long and hard before you agree to the medication. Do not call yourself crazy. It isn't true and it isn't charming. When someone calls you beautiful, do not roll your eyes. Consider the word paunch as a term of endearment. In high school, when he tells you he's a virgin, do him the favor. In college, when he tells you he's a virgin, do him the favor. In graduate school, when he tells you he's a virgin, do him the favor. When they nickname you the Diverginator, stop doing them favors. When your 8th grade math teacher wants to be friends on the internet, decline. Never call him dad, even to his hands. When your best friend calls you at 4 a.m. because there's blood, go. Forgive your mother. If you cannot, do not write this poem. When your stepfather upturns the table, do not flinch. When your mother leaves you on the sidewalk, start walking. When he shows up in your room in the middle of the night, do not pretend to be asleep. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. Get used to sleeping in your closet. Get used to sleeping in your car, in stairwells, on couches. Get used to sleeping sitting, up, and standing. Get used to sleeping with your shoes on, eyes open. Keep a box of tampons in your backpack. When you wake up in the middle of the night and your stepfather's hand is up your shirt, do not pretend to be asleep. Learn to pull yourself together quickly and convincingly. When the cashier makes comment on your bruises, leave quietly. When the woman at Target accuses you of stealing her iPhone, do not apologize thoughtlessly. When the boy you met on New Year's Eve leaves you, your heart will be emptied. The second time, it'll tear itself in half. The third time, he will take it all together. There's nothing you can do about this. Be grateful for your moment, the time you spent orbiting the sun with one another. When it stops hurting, get up and keep going. Learn to recognize real love, true blue love, and follow it. If you ever have to choose between anything and your dog, always choose your dog. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. Practice your small acts of vengeance. Burn cigarette holes in his clothes. Throw his books out the window. When you write about your abusers, use their real names. Do not hate the Zen Buddhists because your rapist was one. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. Bathe your grandmother. Say thank you. When she calls you her final masterpiece, do not cry. When she cannot speak, tell her I love you over and over. Her body raise yours, it will know. When you find yourself in that pitch dark room, this is what will save you. You will regret slicing your woes into your skin. Do not take fists to your own body because it feels the most familiar. Try the heroin, remember the come down. Tally all the dawns you have witnessed and remember why. Count the bleary-eyed sunsets into never-ending nights, into days, into more nights, into blur. Do not regret the drugs, the sex, the road trips, the music, but let go when it is time. Know when it is time. When the guy outside the bar punches Ryan in the face, use all of your teeth and nails and rage. Show him what crazy looks like, what hurricane, what breakneck, what your bite back looks like. Always fight back. Live joyfully unhinged. When they throw you in a dark room, do not pound the door. Burn the fucker down. Find your friends. Wear your matching black eyes with pride.
Oh, nice. You know, what it was, Portland? It's good. I like that. Good. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you another time?
Okay, well, oh, you know what? Last year I broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years. And this was like shortly after moving here. So this is kind of this.
Well, this is I like this one.
Yeah.
I heard this.
Oh no, it's different.
Okay, all right.
That one. That was good too. I'll be next. Okay, this is it's 2 parts. First is called End of Lease. A whole year gone by. On the anniversary of the death of us, I crushed myself like a pill bug, laughable armor but brave still, and slept forever, or wish I did, the dog curled around my little concavity. The sun is out now. They say spring is here, and I was born 2 days ago, for the first time felt reason to unfurl. Imagine that, my body here, a celebration. No hasty and acceptance. The days are growing longer, and I was born 2 days ago, lighter this time, practically afloat. Winter shed, watershed, ache and bone extracted, the weight of you. Today is Monday, and I was born 2 days ago. I want to apologize, but what for? And the second part to this. And the second poem is called, and this is my last poem, and thank you so much, you guys. You guys are so supportive. I'm just like, I'm gonna go weep in my car after. This is called Save Me, San Francisco. Today is Monday, and I was born 2 days ago. I want to apologize, but what for? This strange betrayal, this lightness of being, my wet towel heart wrung over a city I thought would save me. April showers in San Francisco. The weight of you lingers. My heart hung out to dry. I ghost sidewalks, featherlight, sternum, empty bird cage, the bottoms of my feet, indoor palms, pale white and skyward. Hovering supine, the magician's assistant, Sputnik over streets and alleys, hills, towns, north and south of Market Street. I'm told this place can make a cat of a girl, rewind time a little bit, that strange things still exist, check the crevice between tourists and tech workers, sun and Neptune blue sky. So here I am, maneuvering tourists and tech workers magnetized by sun and blue sky. Sun and sidewalk, softer landings. I was told this place would change a girl.
Yay! Thank you! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I love that. I think I can say I told
Your galaxy, and welcome to it.
So we're going to take a brief break, 5-7 minutes-ish. After the break, just to let you know, let me put my eyes upon me, I dropped my pencil. We have Alyssa Palin, Hal Robbins, James Conrad, Marco Harps as the mini feature, but he's not here right now, but he may be. Then Garrett Murphy as the suits, clincher, closer, super duper bulldozer. And there's time here, so if if you came in and you wanted to read, it's possible. M.K. Chavez is the feature next week, so that's really great. Natasha Dennerstein, I said something, 6, 14, 17. And then Bear, if you know Bear, well, then you know better, and that's going to come for on the 21st. So those are the upcoming features, and we're going to take a quick break. The camera will be off so you can talk the way you might like to talk, because it just zooms and it won't be zooming while we're doing this. So take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Talk. Did you bring books?
I did.
She has books. Talk to her about the books.
They're $10 each. I have a couple in my bag. And
You get this here, the dangerous part here.
I'm very bad at